channelers like Bashar and Abraham Hicks claim that we chose to be here. This was our own will. No one lied to us about what's going on here. No one manipulated us. We knew exactly what will happen to us. We chose to come here knowing exactly what was going to happen to us. We chose where we were going to be born. We chose where our parents were going to be. How we're going to, look, the struggles that we're going to face, when we're going to die. That's what many channelers claim. In fact, I even heard a channeler that claimed otherwise. Every channeler claims that we chose to be here. I've listened to a lot of channelers. I love listening to channelers. Do I believe that these people are able to channel some spirits? I'd say yes and no. I like to keep an open mind. So I'm like, well, it's possible that Esther Hinks is channeling these entities called Abraham. It's possible. I mean, she seemed very smart. She seemed very smart. The way that she answers questions, you're like, this is interesting. Any question that people ask her, the way that she answers it makes you think, there's more to her than what I'm saying. You'd swear she's really channeling some spirit. You'd swear Bashar is really channeling some spirit. And his answers are always profound. But there's a chance that, well, they're just intelligent. I mean, Sadhguru is able to answer questions very well. Til Swan is able to answer questions very well. Leo Gura is able to answer questions very well. There are people who are able to do things that many people cannot do. I mean, imagine if David Blaine lied to everyone and said that he was the new Messiah. I mean, looking at the tricks that he's able to perform, many people will believe him. I mean, we don't really get to figure out how he performs his tricks. Now, what he does is supposed to be impossible. It seems like real magic. You're like, damn, like how does he do? Like he just do things that are supposed to be impossible in front of people, in front of witnesses, and you're like, whoa, like that's something else, I mean, there are many pastors who perform fake miracles, and we know how they perform these fake miracles, but they have a large following. People believe in these fake miracles that these pastors be performing. Imagine how many people will actually believe that David Blaine is the new Messiah because of the miracles, or I'm not going to say miracles, but because of the tricks that he's performing. Harry Mack, best freestyle rapper ever. Like, he can freestyle. Imagine if he said he was an alien. Some people will believe him because it's not easy to freestyle the way that he freestyles. Like, it's actually supposed to be impossible. You give him words and he just start freestyling. It's so impressive. I'm a big fan of freestyle rappers. MC Juice, big fan of his. MC Supernatural, Idea, DNA, Sharon, like very excellent freestylers. But damn, Harry Maggis is on another level. Like, what he does is impossible. He could easily lie to people and tell him that he's an alien, and they'll believe him because what he does is it's supposed to be impossible. So yes, some people can lie. Some people can claim that they get their powers somewhere. While the truth is that they are just intelligent. So it's very possible that Bashar is not channeling any spirit. He's not channeling any entity. He's just intelligent. But I like to keep an open mind. You know, I think the best way to learn is to actually keep an open mind. You cannot be so close-minded that you start to believe that you know. We are different. Listen, I've only experienced life from my own perspective. I do not know how other people experience life. So if a person comes to me and tell me that, hey, I saw a ghost, I mustn't say that's impossible because I've never seen a ghost. No, I should keep an open mind. Like it is possible that you might have seen a ghost, you know, but it's also possible that you lying or you're just crazy, you know. I must keep an open mind. Anything is possible. But what's interesting about these channels is that they have the same message. We chose to be here so that we'll evolve. But when you look at how things work in the world, it seems as if we were forced to be here because we are forced to do things that we do not want to do. We are forced to be slaves. The more conscious you become, the more you realize that something isn't right. The more you realize that, nah, I wouldn't choose to come here. Let me ask you a question. Let's say India, well, it's like the worst country in the world, right? Let's say India was the worst country in the world. A lot of people were suffering. A lot of people were homeless. The crime rate was high. Let's say, you know, many people in the world actually believe that suffering builds character. I mean, it seems like people actually believe that, like suffering builds character. And someone came to you and say, yo, hey man, you should go and live in India so that you'll suffer and, you know, become a better person because suffering builds character. Would you agree? Would you agree to go to India so that you suffer and build your character? Or you'll be like, nope. We don't want to suffer. We spend our lives trying to avoid suffering. We don't spend our lives trying to suffer and build character. No, we spend our lives trying to avoid suffering. Why are we trying to avoid suffering? If really we chose to be here, it seems like we're trying to avoid the challenges that, you know, we wanted to experience. Because if we chose to be here, then it means that we wanted to, you know, face these challenges, but we're trying our best to avoid these challenges. Doesn't it feel like we are in some kind of a trap? Doesn't it feel like we were forced to be here? Doesn't it feel like we are being forced to continue being here? Let's say Kanye West became very sick and he said, well, you know what, man, I'm tired. I mean, I've done a lot of things in this world. Look at all the projects that I've worked on. Look at all the people that I've helped. Look at the impact I've had. I'm tired. I would like to be helped to exit. What do you think the world would say? Do you think people will be like, yeah, you know what, it's all good. You did a lot of in this world. You did things that we'll never be able to do, you know. So yeah, you should be allowed to exit. Or they'll be like, no, that's crazy. No one should be allowed to exit, you know. exiting shouldn't be that easy. Blah blah blah. Hey, there's an agenda. Hey, this is evil and all that. People are forced to be here, right? That is the truth. So ask yourself, why are we being forced to be here? If really we did choose to be here. I know what you're thinking. Now it's humans that will be forcing other people to be here, but why? It's not like they have a good reason. What is it about our subconscious minds that make us feel like people shouldn't be allowed to choose to exit this place? It seems like we've been programmed a certain way, you know? Like we've been programmed to be prisoners and to be okay with being prisoners and to not want anyone to be free. It seems like we've been programmed to worship life. So it makes more sense to believe that no one chose to be here. It makes more sense to believe that people were forced to be here. If you believe in souls, it makes more sense to believe that souls were forced to be here. I mean, why would a soul choose to be here? It doesn't make any sense. Considering the things that we go through, it's not like the things that we're going through actually make sense. Think of the dreams that you've had in your life. Like, have you learned anything from your dreams? And you feel like, yeah, man, those dreams were great. I'm a better person because I dreamt. Like, completely pointless. You're just suffering in your dreams, having nightmares, being chased by aliens, being chased by monsters, seeing really horrible shit in your dreams. Sometimes you do get to have good dreams, but some of your dreams are horrible, but you don't really get to learn anything from your dreams. So you can't tell me that we really get to learn something here. You don't learn anything, you just suffer. It seems like you are here to do something. That is why you've been programmed to try to, avoid suffering by doing something. We get rewarded for doing certain things in this world. We get rewarded for pushing certain agendas. But if really we chose to be here, I think we would have chosen to be here because there were certain things that we did not know, like we were manipulated. I don't think we chose to be here because we really wanted to be here. Maybe, we've been lied to. The same way that Christians are being lied to about Jesus. Like accept Jesus, get baptized and all that, you're going to go to heaven. I think that's kind of like how we, got to choose to be here. Because if heaven is fucked up, if heaven existed and it was fucked up, the angels will say, you chose to be here, You chose to be here, but they were sold a lie. They were told that heaven is great. So if we chose to be here, we're manipulated. We weren't told the truth. We weren't told everything. They probably told us the music is great, played us some of the music, and we're like, whoa, this is something else, The food, like, damn, this is something else, But there are a lot of horrible things that are happening in this world. If we were really very conscious, we wouldn't have chosen this. Why? Why would we choose this if we were really, really conscious? This is nonsense. we're forced to do horrible things. Yeah. I remember Joker said, when the chips are down, all this so-called civilized people will hate each other. No, we're only as good as the world allows us to be. And that's true. It's not like we're good or we're doing good in the world. No, we're not. No one ever evolves here. No one ever evolves. That is why when there's a strike in a big city, people loot. People who think they're better than thieves, they will be stealing. Let me tell you a secret. If you steal when you know that there's not going to be consequences, you're not better than a thief. In fact, a thief is better than you, because a thief will be taking risks and they'll be stealing because, well, maybe they gotta steal. But you won't be taking any risk. You just be like, whoa, I can steal and get away with it. Is it? So a thief is actually better than you, because they take risks. You don't take risks. You're stealing, but you're not taking a risk. You know that you're not gonna get arrested. But you're not better than a thief. I mean, if there was a strike in your city right now and people were destroying buildings, don't you think people would be looting? And it happened in my town. People were looting like crazy. By the time the strike ended, there was nothing in the shops because people were looting. People that you wouldn't think will steal, they were looting. You're not better than a person who is in prison at all. Like, you're not better. If you've experienced life the way that they've experienced life, you would have done the same things that they would have done. If you were operating at their level of consciousness, you would have done the same thing that they would have done. If you had their issues, you would have done the same thing that they've done. Like, you're not better. You know, a judge is not better than a thief. A judge is not better than a criminal, you know. I was talking to this other guy. He likes watching porn a lot. Whenever I'll talk to him about rape, like, that's disgusting, man. Like, how could a person rape another person? Like, that's disgusting and all that. He likes watching porn. So I was like, my nigga, let's say you were invisible. Like, or let's say you were able to become invisible. Like, you were not invisible, but you were able to become invisible. Don't you think you will do some fucked up shit? I mean, you're a pervert, dude. You like watching porn. Wouldn't you, you know what I mean? If you were invisible, wouldn't you do some fucked up shit? And he realized that he will do some fucked up shit. You know, we like to think that we're better than other people because we have double standards. That's the craziest thing about us. We have double standards. We'll judge people for the same shit that we will do. Maybe in a different situation. This reminds me of this scene from the book of Clarence. They were recreating this story of Mary in the Bible, where these guys were stoning her. And Jesus was like, well, if there's a person who has not sinned, they can cast the first stone. There was this lady, her name was Jezebel. You know, she was the one who was responding to Jesus when he asked, oh, why are you stoning this woman? He said, oh, she sexes other women, or something like that. I think he said something like that. And Jesus said, it's Jezebel, right? And she said, yeah, how do you know my name? And he said, oh, don't worry, everyone will. And I think there's this spirit called the spirit of Jezebel. You know, I've heard pastors talking about the spirit of Jezebel. You know, I think they're talking about her. Like, she was a slut, something. But she wanted to judge that lady for something that she will become in the end. That's why I don't judge people at all. Like, I do not judge people because I know I'm capable of anything. I do not know where I'm going to be next year. You know, there's a chance that I might end up doing something fucked up and end up in prison. I'm not perfect. You know, I'm trying But I know I'm not perfect, and I know that there isn't a person who's actually perfect. You are just lucky. If you're not in prison, you are lucky. It has nothing to do with you being better than people who are in prison. It has everything to do with how we experience life. So the truth is, we are all fucked up because we will do horrible shit if we needed to do horrible shit. Like Joker said, people are as good as the world allows them to be. They're not good because they really want to be good. People are not good. People are mean. There's a reason why, you know, streets in every city are full of homeless people. That's because people are not good. There's a reason why the world is the way that it is. People are not good. Look at the wars, corruption, poverty. People are not good. We are not evolving. We've never evolved. We've never became better. So you can't say we chose to come here so that our souls will evolve. How would our souls evolve if we're not evolving? We never evolved. People might say, we used to do horrible things in the past. No, we used to do horrible things in the past because we were allowed to do this horrible shit. People are only as good as the world allows them to be. In the past, people were allowed to own slaves. That's why they own slaves. Now they're not allowed to own slaves, so they do not own slaves because consequences. But if there were no consequences, they will do horrible shit because people are selfish. So we're not evolving at all. So if these people like Bashar, Abraham Hicks are channeling these so-called entities, these entities are lying to us. We didn't choose this. These entities want us to believe that we chose this. And these entities are going to manipulate us in the afterlife. The way that Bashar speaks, you see that he's intelligent. He probably knows some shit. Like, nah, we didn't choose this. Like, no, you create your own reality in this way, in that way. Like, I do believe that it is good to give the law of attraction a chance, but I don't know, man. It seems like things just happen, but it is good to focus on the positive things, just like I've been telling you. It's good to focus on the positive things. Like, if you are thinking about something that is making you feel bad, when you remember that it's actually good to think about positive things, stop thinking about what's making you feel bad and start thinking about something that makes you feel good. Don't allow yourself to suffer. You see, stop allowing yourself to suffer, because it's your own mind. You gotta control it. It's not somebody else's mind, so don't torture yourself. Focus on feeling good, because you can, you'll suffer less if you do what I'm telling you. Like that's 100% guaranteed. If you start focusing on the positive shit, you will suffer less. But if something negative happens and you just focus on it, that was horrible, I'm a victim, I'm this, like, of course you're going to be suffering and you're going to be feeling more like a victim. But if horrible shit happens and you remember, oh shit, I ain't got to focus on this negative shit, let me focus on the positive shit, because, well, there are some good things that are happening. Or if there are no good things that are happening, I'm just going to start thinking about what makes me feel good. I like thinking about MMA. I'm a big fan of MMA. If I got nothing good to think about, I'll be like, let me just think about MMA. Let me think about some of the greatest fighters. Let me think about what will happen if this guy fought this guy. What will happen if Khabib fought George St. Pierre? What will happen? Like, both great fighters. I don't know who would have won. So it's good to think about what would happen. What will happen if John Jones fought Anderson Silva in his prime? Like, I like to think about this kind of stuff. Who's the GOAT? Is it John Jones? Is it Khabib? Is it GSP? Who's really the GOAT? You know what I mean? That makes me feel good. That's a lot of thinking. I love hearing my own thoughts. I love hearing my own thoughts. So Yeah, whenever I find myself stressing and actually remember that I gotta think about positive shit, I just start thinking about what I love thinking about, you know. But just because we can minimize our own suffering in some way doesn't mean that this is good. It doesn't mean that we just have to figure out how to avoid suffering, and that's the purpose of life. Like, if you get to a point where you can't suffer anymore because you did a lot of work and you figured out how to avoid suffering, I mean, there are ways to avoid suffering, but we're in a trap, and we're trying to get out of this trap. It seems like that's what we've been trying to do our whole lives. You know, some people are not conscious enough to even realize that that's what they've been trying to do. Remember, we are animals. You know, we like to think that we are the same, but we're not. We are operating at different levels of consciousness. Dogs ain't the same. You know, there are dogs that are smart. There are dogs that are able to understand humans. There are dogs that are just dumb. Like, you can't really do anything with them. They're too stupid. So even when it comes to humans, they're like that. There are some humans that are like really, really smart. They're able to see things as they are, and there are humans that are really, really dumb. Like, they aren't able to see the truth. You know, they're easy to manipulate. They respond to manipulation, you know, more than they respond to integrity. Like, they just, yeah, you know, they're just operating at a very low level of awareness. You know, you can't help them. We're not the same. But if you're really conscious, you'd see that something is not right. You might not really know what is really happening, but you'd see that, nah, man, nah, there's no way we chose to be here, because we're not really learning anything. You know what we're learning? We're actually learning to avoid suffering. We're learning to take care of ourselves here, you know, in this realm. It's not like what we're learning is going to help us in any other. It's like if you were in prison and someone taught you how to like live in prison. It's not like that's how you need to live outside. You know, in prison the rules are different, so you need to follow the rules in prison in order to survive. You would need to be part of a gang. You know, maybe you need to give them something, drugs. But in this world, you wouldn't need to be giving them drugs. You wouldn't need to be giving people drugs to survive and all that. You need to be part of a gang, you know, so that you'll be protected. The rules are different. So in this realm, we have to do horrible shit to survive. But we're not really learning anything, because this is not how life is really supposed to be. This is not how we want life to be. So it seems to me that we are in some kind of a trap. And we don't know how to get out of this trap. And the reason why we don't know how to get out of this trap is because, well, we didn't choose to be here, and we're not supposed to get the fuck out. Like, we're supposed to be slaves here. Because if we did choose to be here, we'll know some shit. There will be some things that we'll actually know. But we know nothing. I don't think people think enough about what they do not know. You know nothing. So you can't really be positive in a world that you don't understand. If someone took you to a place, put you in that place, left you alone, didn't tell you what was going on, and they just disappeared, would you trust them? Like, they put you in a place, there's no one else there, you don't know what's going on, you just have to survive. Like, would you trust them? Would you think, this person, you know, loves me? Like, no. You'd be like, what the fuck? What's really going on here? You find that sometimes you suffer, you know, you don't know how to get out of that place. You're stressed. I mean, if you were stupid, maybe you wouldn't have a problem, you know. So I imagine if you were a bit mad, and they took you and put you in a place, left you alone, didn't tell you anything, maybe you wouldn't really have a problem because you're mad. But if you were really sane and really intelligent, and they left you in a place and you don't know what's going on, you'd have serious problems. Like, what's really going on? You stress, you become depressed, you know, you'll be anxious. People feeling anxious in this world and they think they have mental illnesses. No, you're too intelligent. You are too intelligent, and because you're too intelligent, you feel anxious because this is a scary experience. It is a scary experience because anything can happen and we don't really know what's going on. We don't know what is sourcing this reality. We don't know what happens when we die. Now, there are people who tell me that, yo, man, if I knew what happens after this, I would have exited. Like, they don't know what happens, so they're scared. Like, hey, what if I come back here? What if there's no way out? What if, you know, I can figure out how to exit this matrix if I stay longer? Maybe I will learn some things. See, people are confused, and they're confused because this is confusing. I don't think people chose to be here, man. I think these spiritual teachers are trying to make money, or they are really channeling the spirits that are trying to manipulate humanity. I mean, imagine if you died and you met these entities and they told you that, yeah, you actually did choose to be here, and they give you false memories. I mean, they probably can do anything, you know, and give you false memories, make you think that you chose to be here. I remember Kevnet tagged this other girl that claimed that she remembers her past lives, like she actually remember choosing to come here. Like, I mean, you gotta understand that anything is possible. You could be given false memories. You could have been dreaming. Anything is possible. Until you know for sure what is really going on, you should be skeptical. You mustn't be like, oh, I remembered I chose to be. No, you don't really remember. Be skeptical. Keep an open mind. And try to be as honest with yourself as possible. See, don't lie to yourself. When things happen, do not lie to yourself. Because it seems like that's how people keep, you know, on going. So they lie to themselves. When things happen, they lie to themselves. Horrible things happen, they lie to themselves. No, be honest with yourself. When horrible things happen, be honest with yourself. How do you feel? Do you really think that these horrible things that are happening for the greater good? Do you think that you wanted these horrible things to happen? Or do you think that something is just wrong? Be honest with yourself. And don't be biased. Don't be biased. Lean on your understanding, because it's all you have at the end of the day. You cannot lean on someone else's understanding. You actually have to lean on your own understanding, because people can lie to you. I mean, if you watch the movie The Truman Show, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Everyone was lying to him except this one girl. Everyone was lying. Even his best friend was lying to him. So he had to lean on his own understanding. He had to trust himself in order to escape that town, because everyone was acting, you know. He was the only one. Him and that girl were the only people who were real. The girl cared about him, and she felt like it was wrong that everyone was lying to him. So she would tell him the truth, and they would say she's crazy, you know. They'll make him believe she's crazy. Like, no, she's just crazy. That's why she's saying all these things that she's saying. Like, really? She's crazy? The Truman Show is more like a documentary, bruh. People who would be telling us the truth are believed to be crazy in our society, you know. They are being silenced. And people who are silencing them are saying that they are crazy. And because many people, I don't know, they're not deep thinkers, they're not capable of saying the truth, they believe that. Like, oh, this person is just crazy, that's why they say all these things. Like, no, they're actually telling you the truth. Like, everything is upside down. The truth is hated, truth is kept secret. And people are being lied to. Bro, I can't even watch TV for real because I don't know. Like, I'm too conscious to watch TV now. When I see what they be broadcasting on TV, I'm like, what? People watch this? You know, like, we're being lied to. We're being manipulated in so many different ways. It's hard for me to watch TV. Yeah. What I like about YouTube is that the algorithms actually do work. Like, the more you search for specific topics, the more YouTube suggests these topics. So I think that's dope. Like, the more YouTube suggests these topics and the more YouTube suggests the videos related to these topics that you search. You search a video about reincarnation, YouTube will suggest topics related to reincarnation, and it will suggest videos related to reincarnation. That's dope. It's not like you just fed whatever on YouTube. Like, that's not how it works. This is what I like about YouTube. TikTok is kind of like that, but not like YouTube is better. Like, there was a time when I actually thought TikTok was better, but now I see. I mean, it was better at some point, but now it isn't. Like, the algorithms kind of suck right now. Like, YouTube is actually better now. Like, the algorithms are crazy, bro. Search any word, you'll see that YouTube will start suggesting videos related to that word. It's interesting. I don't remember the last time I watched it. Like, like my friend from like, is my day one, coming from Johannesburg. Me and him don't, like, we've not seen each other like 2 years. Came home and visited me, and he was surprised that I don't have many things in my room. Like, why don't you have TV, bro? Like, dude, I don't watch TV. Like, why would I have a TV? I don't even watch TV. He was surprised. Like, you don't watch TV? Like, yeah, I don't watch TV at all. I don't watch any of the shows that people watch. I think they're poorly written anyway. And I don't really like the news because they don't really tell you everything. And you also have to understand that these news channels are owned by rich people, and they have a specific message, you know. Like, they want us to believe certain things. Like, they'll spin the narrative if they have an agenda. So I ain't got time for that. Like, I do my own research. I'm really interested in the truth. Like, I'm really interested in the truth. So I can't waste my time watching TV. Like, I hate wasting time these days, man. Like, I genuinely hate wasting time. It feels like days are short. You know, if I'm not doing anything important, I'm just sleeping. But everything that I do now is important to me. I mean, it's something that I'll be able to justify in the end. You know, like, yeah, I was doing what I was doing because I knew that I was going to benefit from it in this way and that way. I don't want to, like, waste my time. I don't waste my time hanging with people. I've decided to quit drinking alcohol. I'm going to make a video about that. I've decided to quit drinking alcohol because I feel like it's just a waste of time and money, you know. Plus, when I'm drunk, I mean, yeah, I do feel better, but I don't know. I don't think I'm as smart as I am when I'm not drunk. I think I do make poor decisions when I'm drunk. Like, no, not very bad decisions, but I do make poor decisions when I'm drunk sometimes. So I'm like, you know, I need to take myself more seriously, and I'm gonna find other ways to actually feel better. You know, I don't have to drink. You know, I can still be on my A game without drinking. So I'm done drinking. I don't want to waste my time anymore. I just want to focus on things that I think actually matter to me, you know. Because to me, it's more about, you know, learning things that are going to help me, like, kind of detach myself from this matrix, you know. Like, that's really what I'm focusing on every day. Like, okay, how do I really escape this? Because I can see that something is wrong. So I'm not really interested in pursuing certain goals, you know, like becoming rich, you know, traveling, all these kind of things, becoming very successful. I don't really care about that. What I care about is escaping, man. How do I reach higher levels of consciousness? How do I speed up my enlightenment, you know? Because I'm way better than I was last year. I understand things better than I did last year, you know? So I can see that there's growth. And some people might think, well, if there's growth, it means that you actually did choose to be here so that you grow. No, this growth is about me actually escaping this. It's not, it's like I'm really growing. Like, I'm trying to escape this. So I'm growing in that sense. Like, if you were in a prison and you were trying to get out, you know, you were working on getting out, and you were studying each and every side of the prison, you'll be gaining a lot of knowledge, you know, so that when it's time, you know exactly what you need to do. So I'm learning, you know, like, okay, why do people behave this way? Why do people think this way? What does this mean? What does that mean? You know, why do I dream? Where do my thoughts come from? Do I have free will? Do I have power to free myself mentally? Can I meditate my way out of this? What will happen if, when I'm meditating and my body starts vibrating, I continue to meditate, you know? I don't decide to come back to this world. I just continue. What will happen? Will I have an out-of-body experience? Will I either, you know, will I be unalive? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I'm trying to figure out what is going on. I think that is really important, because we know nothing at this point. We can see a lot of weird things happening, but we know nothing. And if you really want to know what's going on, you shouldn't be, you know, following other people. Like, well, what are other people doing? Or, like, focus on yourself. Don't allow other people to fool you, because they can. You must focus more on yourself. What do I understand now? What makes the most sense now? Yes, there will be people who will tell you something that makes more sense than what you already believe. And you will know that what they're telling you makes more sense than what you already believe. But you shouldn't follow people as if they're like spiritual teachers. Whatever they say is true. Just because you respect someone and you think they're smarter than you doesn't mean that everything that they say is true. You must be the one to decide what makes the most sense. Thank you all, guys.